What's the best thing about the new McLaren 720S? Well, it's built in collision avoidance system, of course. Well, I wish. But with that, welcome back to HD Racing, to the Quick Look series, where today we are going to take a look at the newest addition to the Forza GT series for multiplayer, which is the 2019 McLaren 720S GT3. This car was just added with Car Pass, which means that it is sadly not available to everyone, just to those who actually bought Car Pass or the premium edition of the game, which is a bit of a shame. But I was really looking forward to this car, so I just had to check it out immediately. So, as always, I want to show you two races today, as well as a Hotlap comparison afterwards. And I also have a little bit of a bonus for you at the end, which I think you will enjoy. But for now, let's get started in the first race, and I'm going to show you that the collision avoidance system obviously doesn't exist, as the Viper here turns into me, doesn't see that I'm there or just ignores me and sends me into the barrier, which means we'll be starting this race at Homestead, Miami at the very back. Well, something that happens, nothing you can do about it, and we'll still see what we can make do, what we can make happen in this race. And yeah, just talk about what the McLaren 720S is like. As I said, this was just added, so it's the first day where this race takes place, where the car was added, so there are a lot of McLarens in this race, which is understandable. Everyone that has access to it wanted to try it out, but there are also plenty of other cars to go around, so I think we'll get a kind of good comparison. But as I said before, as always, we are gonna take a look at a Hotlap comparison afterwards, so you get an idea of what the car is like in terms of performance and how fast it is. But for now, let's take a look at this race. And well, we actually already managed to take back a few places because of people going off and just me being a little bit faster out of some of the corners. And well, Homestead, definitely not one of my favorite tracks and not a track that I'm particularly good at, but I think we can still do okay in this. But yeah, just keep in mind that some of my lines are probably not the best on this track, so yeah, just something to keep in mind. But yeah, as we are trying to make our way back to, well, somewhere towards the top, we'll talk about what this car is like. So as I said before, I had high hopes for this car, because I was really looking forward to it since I've been driving the McLaren 720S, especially also the 2019 version, quite a lot in Assetto Corsa Competizione, and I really enjoyed the car there, and just it really fit my driving style. So I had high hopes, and I was looking forward to trying the car out here in Forza Motorsport. And in some regards, my hopes were definitely met, and in others, I also was a little bit disappointed, I have to say, as there's a lot of carnage going on. I don't know how I avoided that Viper, but I somehow did. But yeah, the McLaren here definitely has some of the same characteristics as in Assetto Corsa Competizione. It is at least for a mid-engine car, a very stable one. It definitely does not have big tendencies to oversteer, only a little bit on throttle, and in other situations it actually is way more understeery than I would have imagined. Yeah, you can see here going a little bit off track, definitely not doing too well. But yeah, the car definitely doesn't feel very difficult to drive from the outset. And it's a little bit different to the Corvette and the BMW M8 that we did take a look at in previous videos. It feels a little bit more alive, but in other places it also, I don't know, it feels a little bit sluggish. I don't know how to say it in other words. We are cutting ahead here a little bit in the race, and you're gonna see one of my worst moments in this race, at least. Brake a little bit late. I don't know if the guy in front did brake a little bit too early, and I ram into the back of him and, well, send him wide and get a penalty for that. But I think I also just should have waited for him. That was just on me, and that's something that I normally want to do. If I make a mistake like that, then I want to let the guy that I compromised like that back through. I didn't in this case, was just in the heat of the moment, I think. But just something to be aware of. Definitely quite a mistake from me, and I'm actually sorry to the guy that I rammed off here. Yeah, is not something that I wanna do in terms of like racing etiquette. I actually want to make a video on that in the future as well. So racing etiquette, rules and stuff like that. So if you want to see something in that video, let me know in the comments for sure. But for now, let's focus on the race here and the McLaren. You can see there's also another one in front, and I just love the way that this car looks. I don't know, for me it's just a very, very nice looking car, which is probably also why I enjoy it so much. But yeah, as I said before, I got a little bit well, sidetracked here. It can feel a little bit sluggish in places, and that is something that maybe can be fixed with tuning. I say maybe, it actually can, and that's the little surprise that I have for you at the end. Normally I just drive the car in its stock variant in this series, but I actually wanted to try to get at least a basic tuning done for this car, so that's something I'm gonna show you at the end. But for now I'm driving the car stock, so that's what you're seeing here, and it performs well enough, I would say. It always felt a little bit slow and sluggish, as I said, definitely understeering in most places, just a little bit of oversteer sometimes if you go on power a little bit too aggressively, but nothing that you can't manage. And as I said, for a mid-engine car, a very stable platform, and I actually really enjoyed driving this car. And yeah, we're gonna see here, I already made quite a few places and we are back in P8. The guy in front also has quite a big penalty, which means that maybe we can even go one further. We are in the last lap, so probably not much more happening, but you can see the field is quite stacked in front as well, so maybe we can do something, but it's gonna be close. And I also have another McLaren behind me that's pressuring right now. As I said, there were a lot of McLarens here on this first day of the car being released, which is kind of understandable, and the guy behind just decided to let's just send it on the inside. I think that was even more aggressive than my move, I think quite a lot more, but well, luckily nothing major happened and I was able to still take the corner kind of okay-ish, and well, did overtake another guy, so we are still back in P8, and well, the guy in front did pick up quite the penalty. And that is lucky for me, because that means that in the end we are actually gonna jump I think at least one place. Let's see, yeah, we are finishing the race in P7, which was an okay result for where we started in the beginning. So yeah, I think kind of okay. Just one thing that I want to quickly add: if you are new around here or you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. I would massively appreciate it. It would really help the channel grow. So thank you very much. We are now going to our second race here at Laguna Seca. And this race I did qualify a little bit better. A track that I know a little bit better and was doing kind of fine. But I think the field here was very stacked in terms of like pretty good drivers, or at least of similar pace. The times were very, very close in this race and in qualifying already. And well, I managed to jump a place in the beginning, and we had quite a nice fight here. A little bit of a touch, like nothing major, but it definitely sent me around a little bit, so I lost out, yeah, at least a tiny bit. And I'm also getting pressured from the Viper behind. And well, I'm just trying to see, do I need to cover the inside here? That didn't look like it, and yeah, he definitely left me enough space, and I'm still good. Well, on this track there was definitely a lot more different corners than on Homestead, so I was able to test out what the car performs like in these high speed sections as well as the low speed ones, like the corkscrew here. And there's the scene that you've also already seen in the intro. I don't know what this guy was doing, if that was on purpose or like if maybe like his controller died, or I have no idea. That was so weird, and so lucky that I avoided that. And well, one guy didn't, and like he got definitely completely screwed in this race. And that means we are now in P4. I would have liked to have battled for that position, but well, sometimes just Forza things happen, and yeah, as I said, don't know if that was on purpose or what was going on there. really annoying to see sometimes, but for once it didn't affect me, so we'll still continue here, and yeah, gonna try and keep up with the other McLaren here in front, who was kind of doing a similar pace than me. And well, we'll see what we can do here. But like overall in this race, I was definitely feeling even more that this car kind of felt a little bit slow. As I said, it's something that can be fixed with tuning, and yeah, I'm gonna show you at the end what can be done. But in the races, as I said, as I was driving the car in its stock form, it definitely felt like there was a little bit missing. It was just feeling a little bit sluggish in places, and well, just not all that fast. And that was also something that I kind of felt like in the races, and that was definitely confirmed in the Hotlap comparison afterwards, which I'm also gonna show you, of course. The car feels kind of slow on straights. I don't know, for the McLaren 720S I would have expected that this car would be kind of fast on straights, just have quite a lot of power and just, well, perform very well. But for some reason in the, well, homogenated GT category in Forza Motorsport, the car is performance-wise or performance index-wise not very high. I think at 825, and also in terms of power, not what I expected. I expected definitely more power from this car. Like maybe the developers didn't want to have another car that they over-tuned so that it would be the next Audi, which would just be overpowered. But I think like this, the car feels a little bit underpowered. Just a tiny bit, I have to say, and with tuning you can definitely do something to combat that, but I feel like it could do with a little bit of extra power. So I definitely cut the corkscrew here in the end a little bit. Still not managing to get by this guy in front. I tried for the whole race, but he was just basically on the same pace as me and was just able to keep me behind for the complete race. We were able to ditch the guys behind, like next guy behind me is almost 6 seconds away, so did kind of well in that regard. But yeah, he was just the same pace, and the guys in front were also too fast for us. And well, we're gonna take a look now if my feeling was right, that this car feels a little bit slow. And you can already see this is the stock tuning on Barcelona comparing to the Audi R8, as we always do. And you can see already losing out on the straight, kind of keeping up here in the first couple of corners, but here I was able to definitely feel the understeer quite a bit. And that was something that was like, I don't know, this is like a little bit too much. Yes, the car feels very stable, but I feel like it's too stable, and with the, well, lack of power, it kind of feels like this car would need either just better handling or just more power to compensate for the little bit sluggish handling that it has. But we are gonna see after this hot lap one that I did drive in a tuned car, which is just a very basic tune, but yeah, we're gonna take a look at that. But this lap, as I said, stock tune, it felt okay. It felt definitely like I could drive very consistently with it, but it never felt very fast. And I actually was struggling to get this car in the 144 range. I was able to do like 145 lows, like very lows, but didn't manage to break into the 144s for a very long time. And well, that was kind of surprising to me, even though I had a feeling in the races that the car didn't perform very well. It still was a little bit of a surprise that it was that slow. This lap, you can see the previous one was a 145.058. This one was a 144.987. Definitely better, but still quite a lot slower than the Audi, and still also slower than, for example, the Corvette C8 or the BMW M8. Those were doing like at least 0.2 faster, which I would have expected this car to be able to do these times as well, but it didn't. So I normally don't do this, but for this one I kind of felt like I wanted to. I did do a basic tune, which kind of uses my tuning guide as the basis. If you haven't seen that, there's a video on the channel. I will link it for you as well. So yeah, just a basic tune where I just wanted to get rid of a lot of the oversteer and still keep the car as stable as possible, and just improve straight line performance as well by reducing aero, because this car felt still very stable. And I was able to do that. You can see I'm keeping up with the Audi here in the tuned version of the car, and I'm able to take especially some of the more flowing corners definitely a lot faster. And you can see here, definitely doing quite well and a lot better than in the untuned version. And I was actually pleasantly surprised how just the basic tune that I did, which like didn't take all that long, was able to, well, get the job done here and make this car a lot better. One main thing that I also did in the tuning is adjust the gears, because they felt also very long, especially the first one. So just the standing start in the McLaren is also not that great in its stock form. So I would personally, if you want to do tuning, also adjust the gears. But yeah, if you do that and also do a little bit to reduce the understeer, you can do a lot better. And this was a 144.221. I definitely could have done even better if I had tried a little bit longer, but I felt like this was a good representation of what the car can be like with tuning. And well, here you can see the tuning. If you want to see a specific screen, just pause the video and you can take a look what I did. As I said, nothing major, just very basic. As with the tuning guide, nothing in springs, dampeners and suspension geometry. And just, as I said, very basic tuning. But it did get the job done already to make the car feel a lot better and also be faster. So yeah. This was my look at the new McLaren 720S GT3. If you enjoyed the video and you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel, as that would really help me out. And other than that, I just want to thank you a lot for watching, and I will see you in the next one.